On a spring training no-hitter, if not for that bloop they called fair. Are you going to file a protest?
No, I'll let it be. We'll let it be. It's yeah. I think it was good to be able to throw with some runners on today, just to kind of feel the game, and had a few pickoffs, and was able to try to hold a runner at second and those type of things, which it's always good to have in spring training, just to to work on the CRG and just feel the speed of the game with the runners on base and try to make some pitches. So it's nice to have that today and feel some of those things.
In general, as you transition here, if your velocity was at one level in years past in short stints, what is a reasonable expectation for velocity for you as a starter?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where we'll probably see. I expect it, not to be too far off. Obviously, you want it to be pretty, around your average. But we'll see. I mean, like today, I never really felt like I was like trying to get on like every pitch. It was just kind of feeling things out. What does the sinker feel like when I'm kind of back off a little bit? What's the action? Can I still get ground balls on it? I think those are things, especially here in spring, as I build, and just kind of see what we have there. Like, do I have to throw every pitch like I'm trying to throw a sinker by someone? Would that allow me to finish game strong? I come out today and I was feeling great. I feel like I was in a great spot to keep going back out and keep pitching. So I think all those things will allow me, this spring, as I keep, adding these starts, to just see where I'll settle in. What do I kind of save? What do I, want to have when I want to get on it? What do I want to have, in the fifth inning? Those type of things. But, perfect world, yeah. I mean, that velo's, it's pretty, similar to what it was last year. But, as a starter, and because I have a sinker ball and the ability to get the ball on the ground, maybe I don't have to throw every pitch as hard as I can. So we'll see.
How many more pitches did you throw in the bullpen?
Two more than I was supposed to. I don't know. I think 17 or 18. Yeah, somewhere around there. But yeah, it's nice. I've kind of done that the past few times. I sat down, so I cooled off and kind of went back and threw in the bullpen to simulate kind of a fourth up and finish the pitches there. Yeah, it's like I said, I feel like I was in a great spot to keep pitching. Even after I finished there, I felt a lot better than last time I did when I finished the bullpen. So I can see that I continue to kind of adjust to the workload and really feel like things are trending in a good direction.
Last year, the Mets did struggle quite a bit to contain the running game. It was pitchers and catchers both. Converting back to a starter, is that something that's going to have to be, I don't know, you're going to have to be a little bit more conscious of in the back of your mind, just given the longer outings?
I mean, the CRG obviously is a very important part of the game, especially the past couple of years where you see teams really starting to try to run. And for me, I've always been a ground ball guy, and it's important to keep the guys at first, to keep the double play in order. So that was something that really became a priority of mine, a few years back, is to be able to do that. And that was one reason kind of why I widened out my stretch stance. It's a little harder to get jumps off of me. I'm fast to the plate because of it, and it really simplifies things. And so I think my ability to control the running game, obviously, in lever spots down in the bullpen, those runs mean a lot, and you have to be able to do that. And I think that's going to really pay off, especially being as a starter, where you have to keep double plays in order and keep people out of scoring position. It's a huge thing for me, especially for a guy that relies on the ground balls. I have to do it. I think definitely learned some things in the years past, but it's always something you have to stay on top of, and really make sure that they're not picking up any trends, or you're not showing anything, that you're just really on top of, so it's a part of your game that you have to stay on top of, just like anything else.
Tony? Just getting back to Tim's question about the velo. As a closer, were there ever times when you would throw a sinker just not as hard as you possibly could?
Yeah. There's definitely days where I knew the velo was there, and I was like, I knew if I could just get a sinker to this area, I would probably get a ground ball, or the movement was there, and you learn to trust those things, and I think that is definitely it helps you be available more often and at your best more often. That's something I've kind of learned. Instead of trying to overdo it when you're tired, hey, you can kind of back off a little bit and still get outs, and you'll be better tomorrow too. So it's definitely something I've we tried to do a little bit there. Obviously, there's adrenaline, and there's not a lot of pitches where you're just like, I'm just going to cruise this pitch in there. But with a sinker, it's just like when the movement's there, there's just times where you can trust that movement, where you don't have to try to trust the velo. And I think it's more of that versus trying to purposefully take some off of it.
So as a starter, then, is more like finding what's the right scenario to do that in, or?
Yeah, it's just kind of seeing how I finish. Like, obviously you want to finish always kind of trending up, and I think as a starter you're still throwing, you're putting good intent on it, but like I said, there's times where you're throwing more innings, and this is obviously new, so it's just seeing where that is, and that's one thing where I expect to gradually build into it, where especially during the season, throwing hard is kind of always there. So if I need to throw hard, it's there. It's just, what does that look like over 6 or 7 innings? I guess we'll find out.
Was there any sort of benefit to working through a 20-pitch inning to start the game, with where you are workload-wise and trying to, get through 3 innings?
100%. It's very game-like situations where, have a long first inning and, you throw 30 pitches and, hey, you got 60 pitches to get, 5 or 6 innings and just feeling that in your body. It's new, feeling that taxing inning and then having to do it, time and time again. So, yeah, that's definitely good to experience. Just it's a little work early and how to kind of settle in and, finish strong, throughout it, which – those things you're glad to experience here in spring training.
What did you make of the way your outing ended with that comebacker to the mound off Alvarez?
Yeah, glad we got an out. It's I felt like kind of saw it pretty good. It just kind of hit the edge of my glove, and hopefully, or I'm glad it bounced pretty close and we were able to get out there. But yeah, great hitter, and you got to make good pitches then.
I just have an off-topic question. You've spent your whole career in Pittsburgh and New York. What is your best advice for pitching in cold weather?
I don't know if I'm the best person to ask for this. It's one of those things where you feel like your grip's a little less, but my ball always moves a little more in the cold weather, I feel like. So it's just, for me, in the cold weather, I'm like, I just got to trust the movement. You can't overthrow it. The ball's going to move. Let's just, you're going to get behind the counts, but you're still going to get ground balls and trust it in the zone. There's definitely, a challenge where things are cold and you may not can feel the ball exactly like you want to. But I don't know, maybe it's just in my head or something I've told myself to get through it. But I feel like the movement's always been good and cold. Hitters don't like it, so let's throw it in the zone and make them swing.
So for you, it's not an adjustment at all. It's just basically another appearance, another game.
Yeah. Once you throw a few pitches in the bullpen, you're warm, and it's not like you're. It's way worse sitting through them than pitching through them, in my opinion.